The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Reaper Apparel Company. Reaper Apparel offers a casual line of superb fit, finish, and comfort. We design for those who refuse to die slowly and choose to live untamed. For those who aren't afraid to face the dark, for the ones that thrive in it, and for those who can appreciate life through a grim lens. That's Reaper Apparel Company. Go to the link in the description of this episode, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my own personal merch store, the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. I have hats, I have t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, water bottles, notebooks, you name it, I've got it. The description and the link for that will be in the description of this episode. Also, right now, if you use the promo code WELCOME, I will give you 5% off of your first purchase. That's the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Tactical Brotherhood, all American-made apparel, which helps support the Second Amendment. You can also find all this in the description of this episode with the link, Tactical Brotherhood. Part of every proceed does go to helping veterans, as it is a very good cause. All American-made products made right here in Minnesota. Go and check them out. Use the promo code PATRIOT15 to get 15% off your purchase. Now, let's start the show. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. This is, as always, your host, Mike Bono. I have a very special episode for us this week. It is not just one guest. It's not two. I have three amazing guests. This is our NBA preview show. I will let these gentlemen introduce themselves. That way, I don't, butcher anybody's names, and they're going to tell you where they're from and who their favorite NBA team is. So, Bill, you're new to the show. We'll start with you. Where are you at?
Absolutely. Thank you. I live in Lakewood, Ohio, just outside of Cleveland, Ohio. Definitely admitted avid Cavaliers fan, so hopefully no pre-bias coming into it, but definitely a big Cavs fan. Excited to talk some basketball with you guys.
We're okay with the bias around here. This is a rant podcast, so we'll be good with that. Welcome back. Tony Bogan joins the show again. Tony, remind everyone where you're from and who's your team.
My name's Tony Bogan. For those of you who don't know, I'm with PeonSports.com. I'm a sports reporter, a videographer. I am from Shaker Heights originally. My favorite team's Cavaliers.
Two Cav fans off the rip. All right, and back again, Carey Palermo joins the show. Carey, tell everyone where you're from and who's your team.
My name's Carey Palermo. I'm from Youngstown, Ohio. I coach boys basketball at Cardinal Mooney High School, and I teach as well. I guess my team would be the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're my team right now. I like what they're doing up there.
A guy that moves around the NBA a lot. So, spoken like a true coach, knowing that he's not going to be with one team for long. All right, but yeah, that being said, as for all the new listeners, I am Mike Bono. From Zanesville, Ohio. I am a comedian. And my favorite team, if I had to pick one, I guess I would have to say the Bulls. I grew up in the 90s watching Jordan. It's kind of hard to stray away from that. So I just aged myself a lot. I know it, but it happens. So I'm a Bulls fan. But that being said, it'll probably be the last time you hear me answer a question like that. I will moderate these three gentlemen here as we get through this list of questions for our NBA preview show. So if y'all are ready, let's dive right into this here. So, Bill, since you're new, we're going to start with you here. Who do you think is the most overrated team coming into this season?
Most overrated team, I'm going to have to go with the Lakers. I feel like, maybe some people think they're going to get back to contender mode this year and really don't see it. I think they needed to add some three-point shooting, some more shooting in the offseason, and I'm just not sure if they accomplished that. So that's a team. We'll see if Anthony Davis can get back and get healthy, and I think that might be the only thing that can get him back into contention. But definitely the most overrated. I would go with the Lakers.
All right, Tony, what about you?
Bill, I agree with Bill. I would say the Lakers, but I would also have to say the Nets, believe it or not, because going spicy here. I gotta say the Nets because they always find a way. I think something's gonna happen again. A key piece is gonna get injured, or there's gonna be some sort of drama. So I'm going with the Nets being overrated.
That's not what I was expecting. Carey, what do you got, my man?
I think they both hit the nail on the head. I was going to say the Nets. There's just too many things other than basketball that always gets in their way. A lot of talent, some of the most talented players in the game, but just a whole lot of personalities that just for whatever reason don't mix very well, especially for an 82 game season.
Yeah.
I don't know how they can hold that together.
Yeah, seems like there's going to be too many Chiefs and not enough Indians there in New York with the Nets. I see it. I watch ESPN, and it's to the point now. It's like, all right, what drama's happening with the Nets? We're not going to talk about a game. What's coming up? Who hit who? Who's talking about somebody's mama? It's basically just how I see them going there. So, Carey, we'll stay with you. Who is underrated coming into this season, in your opinion?
Underrated. I think there's a couple. I mean, the Cavs. I think some of the moves that this kind of sounds crazy because they were in the NBA Finals last year, but I don't think anybody's talking about the Celtics getting Sheldon Brogdon or Malcolm Brogdon. That's a backup point guard for them. A guy who can space the floor. I don't think people are really talking about them. I like what the Cavs did with Donovan Mitchell. They were a superstar away. If they could stay healthy, when they were healthy last year, they were a 2-3 seed. Toward the end of the year, when injuries kind of piled up, they fell out of it a little bit and had to go in the playing game. But with the experience they got last year, with the pieces they added, I guess it wouldn't really be a surprise if they made the playoffs. But to actually make a move in the playoffs, I think they're kind of under the radar.
All right. Tony, let's go back to you. Underrated team this year.
I would have to say Memphis. I know Memphis did a lot without Ja Morant, but I can see the Grizzlies making that step forward and potentially making a deep playoff run.
Okay. I don't hate either of those answers off the rib. Bill, let's bring it home with the underrated.
I think, Carey, you beat me on the Cavaliers. Obviously, big Cavs fan. I think they can make some noise this year. But I would also point out the Pelicans. I think they're able to get Zion healthy again. I just think he can be such a difference maker on that team and can really elevate them into playoffs, finally kind of making a deep run in the playoffs as well with Brandon Ingram, TJ McCollum. I think Valanciunas is going to be good inside again. So just have a good starting lineup. And I think Zion, if he's healthy all year, can really bring them over the top into contention.
Yeah, man, I really got to say, I was really waiting to hate all of your answers, and I love every single one of the answers. I can see every single one of those coming true. I really thought it was going to be Cavs across the board. I'm not going to lie, because we're 3 Cavs fans. That's what I was waiting to hear. But, all right, Bill, we'll stay with you right now. Who are your top 3 NBA players right now?
Ooh, that's a good one. Top 3 NBA players. We'll go 3, Giannis. I think he's just dominant up and down, every position pretty much, can do everything. Number 2, we'll go Joel Embiid. Another big guy in there, I think, but I think he can maybe be dominant again this year and maybe bring the 76ers over the top. And number 1, maybe a little bit of an upset, but I think Luka maybe. I think Luka, I love the way he plays, dominates the ball. So I'll put him in 1 there. I think all 3 good players, probably a few different answers to go there, but Luka's my favorite player, so I will go with him in 1. I just think he's so valuable to that team and can kind of carry them in the playoffs. So we'll stick with him. All
right, Carey, I can see you making faces at this one, so we're going to go to you. Your top 3 NBA players right now. Did he just steal all 3 of yours? Is that
2 of them? So I'm going to give you my number 1. I think Giannis is the best. I think if you're any team in the NBA and you had 1 player, I think you take him. I mean, he's 6'11", can handle it and whatnot. And he gets better every year. Number 2, I would go with Embiid, Joel Embiid for sure. All the things he could do as a 7-footer. But, if you're talking about like an underrated team, maybe a team like if they don't do it this year, there might be changes with Harden and those guys and Tobias Harris in Philadelphia. Like if it doesn't pan out this year, I don't know what they're going to do, but I do think he's the second best player. Number 3, you guys probably were going to have this guy. What's Steph Curry?
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's not, he's 6'2", 6'3", or whatnot. He's not the athletic, freak these other guys we're talking about. But, I mean, he's been the best or second best player on four NBA championships teams, 6 finals teams. So that's my 3.
All right, Tony, bring us home. 3 best NBA players right now.
I gotta say, I know nobody mentioned this, but John Morant is definitely in the top 3 because I could see him as like a little shorter version of a LeBron James, but he's very athletic. I would have to say I agree with Carey. Steph Curry, as a Cavs fan, I know it brings some bad memories, but still, Steph Curry is one of the best shooters in the league, and he had like 500 some games where he hit at least one 3-pointer. And I also got to go with Giannis. Giannis is just that dude.
All right. Hey, not mad at any of those. I'm honestly just happy nobody said LeBron in their top 3, to be 100% honest. I'm just really happy he didn't make anybody's top 3 here. So we're going to keep it with players, and I know it's early in the season, but I like to do these early predictors and see who can come out smelling like a rose in this one. Tony, we're going to stay with you right now. Who wins the MVP this year, and why?
I'd say John Morant. John Morant, and I think Memphis is going to finish near the top of the West because I can see Memphis, if the cards go well, I can see Memphis making an NBA Finals appearance.
Okay, I don't hate it. Bill, what about you? Who's your MVP right now?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Luka Doncic. I think, again, kind of brought the Mavs pretty deep in the playoffs last year, and I think he can do so again. We'll see losing Jalen Brunson. If he's able to continue to bring that team deep into the playoffs, I mean, he has the ball in his hands pretty much every possession. I think the sky's the limit for him. I think he'll put up the numbers that he needs to, and if they can, he can stay healthy, the Mavs will be good, and I think he'll be at the top of the NBA or MVP leaderboard there.
All right, Carey, what about you?
Those are 2 great picks. I mean, both those guys have the ball in their hands, most of every possession of it, every game they play. I mean, I'm going to go with Giannis. If they would have stayed healthy last year in the playoffs, if Middleton wouldn't have got hurt, I think they'd have been playing in the NBA Finals. So I think if they stay healthy, I think they're the team that's going to come out of the East. So I'm going to go with Giannis.
Yeah, again, that's 3 solid picks, but I am going to be playing this back to you guys when it gets down to MVP voting, and I'm going to tell everyone, hey, you heard it here first on the Ride Home Rants podcast. My guys called it, because I think any one of those 3 could be one of the could be the MVP of the league. All right, that's not good. All right, all right, Carey, NBA Finals pick. Who you got in the finals this year?
I have the Bucks playing. This is going to be kind of a shock because this is one of those teams like an injury or something can derail them. I'm going to go with the Clippers. And that's kind of a crazy pick, but if Kawhi, Paul George, they got John Wall now. If they could stay healthy, I think this is one of those things where, they only got, a year or 2 window left before they might start breaking that stuff up. So it seems like they're healthy. It seems like they're in a good spot. I know they're going to probably take it easy with Kawhi Leonard. It goes to the regulars, maybe the first 20, 30 games or so, but I'm going to go with the Bucks and the Clippers.
All right, Tony, NBA Finals, who's your picks?
I would say out west, probably Golden State. And I say out in the East, I'm going to probably say Philly. I could see Philly making a run.
Not mad at it. Bill, who you got?
Yeah, I'll start in the East. I think the Cavs are going to be good this year, but not quite going to get to the finals. I think out of the East will probably be the Celtics. Just building off of what they've done year over year now, kind of getting more experience together. Tatum, Brown, and the crew there, I think they're able to run it again and get to the finals. And out of the West, Ben's saying the Mavericks a lot, so I'll kind of stick with them. I think Luke will be able to bring them with Christian Wood and Tim Hardaway Jr. doing his thing. I think they'll be able to kind of lead the way out of the West. Maybe a little bit of an upset pick there, but we'll go Celtics versus Mavericks.
All right. I would love to watch all three of those finals. Like, I wish we could just make that happen. Like, for all three of those, just to happen. All right. So we are running a little bit low on time because Zoom is being amazing and telling me we're running low on time. We got about 7 minutes left to get through a couple of these bonus questions here for you guys. All righty. So, Bill, we're going to stay with you. And this is a Johnny Fitty Falcone question if I've ever heard one. All right. If you had to pick which of these all-time greats wins in an NBA game in the 1980s rules, who wins? Team A, your center is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, power forward Karl Malone, small forward Larry Bird, shooting guard Jordan, point guard Magic, and your sixth man is John Stockton. That team or Team B, Shaq, Duncan, LeBron, Kobe, Steph, and sixth man Kevin. I think he meant to put Durant, but he got Garrett.
That's a classic Fitty question. Funny. The 80s and 90s versus the 2020s or 2010s. I'm actually going to go with the 80s squad there, so I'll go with the old guys with Jordan and Larry Bird. I think it's tight, but specified towards the 80s rules and 80s way officiating. We'll go with those guys.
All right. Tony, who you got? Team A, Team B?
I would have to say, I'd have to say Team B. Nothing against Team A, but Team B has, like, athletic guys and guys that can shoot, like Steph Curry. Kobe Bryant can shoot a three. And was LeBron on that team or no?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
LeBron as well, and Kevin Durant when he's not injured.
Yeah. Carey, Team A, Team B.
I would go with Team A. I just think any team with Michael Jordan on, I think he's especially when you have an all-star team like that, taking the best players of those eras. I think Jordan and a lot of guys transcend all eras, but I don't think there's been a player like him that can transcend any generation. He can play under any rules anywhere. I would take him. Tony makes a good point about the shooting, though, and the spacing and whatnot. It was a lot different now than when it was back then. The rules were a lot different, which kind of helped. The hand checking, the defensive. Now you got the defensive 3 seconds, the restricted area, all that stuff. It makes it more wide open, but it causes those guys to shoot the ball better. But I would still go with Team A.
All right, yeah, I'm not mad at either of those. Like I like all those guys on each team. I like them all. All right, question number 2, bonus question. Carey, who's your all-time top 5 NBA players? All time.
So I'm going to go Jordan. I'm going to go Magic Johnson. I'm going to go Kareem. You have to take, LeBron. You got to take LeBron. I know people in Northeast Ohio don't like that. I'll go Bird.
Bird, all right.
I need someone who can knock it down from the outside.
All right. Tony, what about you?
I'm going to probably go with Kobe, LeBron, Michael Jordan, probably Dr. J, and I would have to go with this is tough. Steph Curry.
Okay. Bill, who you got?
In order, answer, Michael Jordan 1, LeBron 2. We'll go Kobe 3, Kareem 4, and we'll go Larry Bird 5.
Okay. Solid top fives. Right. And again, we got to end with this is a fitty question, and it's going to be fitting that I'm talking to three Cavs fans for this one here. So, Bill, we'll start with you. Who's the more accomplished pro athlete, LeBron James, Tom Brady?
Accomplished pro athlete. That's a good one. Kind of going across sports here gets tough, but I'll go Tom Brady. I think just more rings to this point has done it. I think in football it's just tougher to be able to have as much impact as Brady did over so many years at the quarterback position. So I'll say Brady. They're both obviously at the top of the charts on that one. We'll go with Brady. I think keeping up with Belichick there and getting more rings.
All right, Tony, who you got?
I would have to say overrated is Jimmy Johnson, NASCAR champion, also 7-time winner. But I know we're running short, so I'm going to pick Tom Brady for the reasons that Bill stated. He's 45, still doing it. 7-time champion is nothing to sneeze at. And I'm saying this as a Saints fan.
Yeah, all right, Carey, who you got real quick?
Just to be different, I'm going to go with LeBron just because, obviously they're both great, but LeBron has to play both ways, going up and down the floor. He impacts the game in so many different ways. So that's why I'm going to go with LeBron.
Okay, yeah. I really thought that was going to be old TB12 across the board with three Cavs fan and what LeBron did to y'all. So it's just so. But that's going to do it for the NBA preview show. I want to thank Bill, Tony, and Carey for coming on the show, taking time out of their busy schedules to join me here and talk a little NBA. And I'm telling you guys, when that MVP vote comes to fruition, one of you is going to be right. I can feel it in my bones right now, but that's going to do it for all of us here. As always, if you enjoyed the show, be a friend, tell a friend. If you didn't, tell them anyways. They might like it just because you didn't. That's going to do it for me, and I will see y'all next week. The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by W Energy. Energy drinks made for gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. For gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. Go to the link in the description where you can find the best energy drinks out there. Less caffeine than a cup of coffee. Also, no jitters and no crash afterwards. Use the promo code Mike Bono and get yourself 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my favorite sponsor of the show, and that is Shankit Golf. Golf apparel made for the everyday golfer. We might not go out and shoot a 6 under par. We're probably going to shoot a 6 over par, but this is going to give us the gear that's going to help us rock it on and off of the course. Go to the link in the bio, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get yourself 10% off there as well.